What's up? What's up? Welcome to another market recap. Today is May 8th, 2025. So, I guess to kick things off, I didn't make a video yesterday because for the first time ever since I've been trading micros for the past few months, I had literally nothing on watch every single hour yesterday. It was kind of odd. Like price just went sideways mostly. And it wasn't until the 1 o'clock hour where there was a potential setup that I was eyeing. But due to the Fed rate announcement coming out at 1 o'clock, I don't trade through high impact news. So it's going to basically kill my hour anyways. If we go back and I can show you that trade from yesterday. It was this, I had this position size a little different. We can just replay, actually. Go back to that hour. So this was like right as the 1 o'clock candle, or 1 o'clock was roughly, coming into play. And this is from yesterday, but, you have this 1 hour kind of retesting recent highs here. A nice kind of upward trend. Pretty clean, relatively MBO, right? Kind of a CBO here that's just pretty overextended, and at this point kind of needs a pullback. So I like the overall price action. The only thing that kept me out of this trade was the fact that there was a rate announcement at 1 o'clock. And the entry for this essentially occurred 12 minutes before that announcement came out. So likely, if you now fast forward in time, right, the rate announcement comes out. This proceeds to come down a bit, roughly runs about 1R in profit. But I had a 4R target on this. There wasn't really much in the way. So up until the 10-minute 50 is essentially what I was targeting. So 4-to-1. So at 1R, I'm not really going to do too much other than just move the trade to break even. So I would have gone to break even at 1R and then would have been taken out for break even when price retraced. So, but there might be a second shot at this. So I have a number of different trades on watch for like this evening as just like MBOs. Like a number of these trades are kind of reaching places that have daily support, right? So I'll be watching these tonight to see if I can't catch something in this list. But there's a lot of yen pairs that are probably going to be first up, I imagine. Just dollar yen being one of them. So I'll be looking at possibly getting into this trade at any point, honestly. Could be very soon. I could take this now if I really wanted to. It's kind of decelerated nicely here. It's sitting at the tops. Yeah. Anyways, I'll look at that some more in a minute. As far as my day-to-day, I didn't have anything, again, for the first 3 hours of the day. Really nothing kind of clean price action wise. There was a couple of, somewhat setups that occurred, but they were so tiny pip wise that I would never be able to take them. They were like 2 or 3 pip positions. They had the price action there. They were just way too small. So it wasn't until the 10 o'clock hour that I had anything. And I had Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, and Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD was really kind of like a secondary. It's mainly Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar that I was watching. So 1 hour time frame, you have a break of a kind of trend right here. You have an IBO CBO-esque kind of pullback, but it's a wave 2 pullback, wave 3 follow through. You could treat this now as like a wave 4 pullback on this 2-minute time frame, right? And then a break, so a continuation of this 1 hour trend. And on this 2-minute time frame, it's basically a wave 3 CBO. So, and it nearly triggered me in here. I had my position roughly about a pip or so below 0.382. And I just missed getting triggered. So just didn't pull back enough. And then price just kind of fell and then retraced. Likely, it's hard to say if I was able to get into this position. Like this would have required me to have like immediate execution of like right when I got close to my entry order. So this would be timing it absolutely perfect, which is impossible, right? But if something like that, my one would have been hit someplace in this area. So I could say I'd lock my one once it pushed to, 1.3, 1.4. That's likely what I would have done. So potentially could have captured 1R on this. But realistically, I think for me to capture it, I would have had to have my entry order like 2 pips below 0.382 instead of a pip below 0.382. So, but it was a very, very quick play with some very quick management. Would have been able to lock about 1R, but I didn't get into it. Kiwi CAD even pulled back less. Technically kind of gave a second entry here, but I really am only interested in taking a trade on this first initial pullback. This kind of second pullback, I don't like taking trades on that second style kind of pullback here. So, I mean, technically wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. So you could say it's a wave 5 continuation. And I mean, that's what it ended up being. But it's just not really what I'm interested in taking. I want that first pullback to maybe allow me to get into the trade. But this trade just kind of continued and following the overall kind of 1 hour trend here. So, but I preferred Aussie dollar to Kiwi dollar just because like Kiwi dollar, you're retesting a low. But that's about it from the 1 hour time frame. But on the 1 hour time frame on Aussie dollar, you're kind of retesting the 1 hour 200, which is a 4 hour 50, and they still are somewhat close to the 1 hour 50 as well. So, and then Aussie CAD was, I got to go back in time here, was like a secondary play for me. So this did present an entry, but I had my limit order set for Aussie dollar. And I was just kind of watching this, but I didn't take it because I was waiting on Aussie dollar to pull back. And when by the time Aussie didn't pull back the extra pip it needed to, all these trades at that point had kind of already run from the entry point. In the 11 o'clock hour, I had pound Aussie, euro Aussie, and dollar Mexican. This dollar Mexican trade technically pulled back to 0.382 and kind of pushed, but I guess after this tariff volatility is somewhat calmed down, I'm finding I'm actually having a harder time trading some pairs. Like all the tariff stuff allowed me with these micro time frames to trade some larger position size, larger pip size on my position, right? And it opened up a door for me to trade more and more pairs. But when I went and tried to size this in my broker, I could almost get no leverage on this pair. So it kind of didn't make any sense to trade. So at that point, I started watching Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie being the primary, Euro Aussie kind of being the, take that back. Euro Aussie was the primary, Pound Aussie was the secondary. So Euro Aussie, I liked more due to mainly the 1 hour time frame. If we come back in time here. So on my 1 hour here, I have like a clean break of the 50 EMA, right? And so it's already broke support on my 1 hour. It's broke the previous low, and it's broke the EMA. So I was looking for a pullback on this one to 0.32 area, right? Granted, at the time, like the EMAs are way up here on this 2-minute time frame, so I need them to kind of come down some to allow me to get a better stop protection. And if I come out to like the very beginning of the hour, you can see what I'm talking about. See, at the beginning of the hour when I'm drawing this, play here. There we go. As I'm drawing this, you see the EMAs are not really protected by my stop. So I don't want to position size something like this below 0.382 because if it does continue to pull back to the previous lows on the 2-minute and the EMAs, which is probably the most likely pullback area, as well as this is a CBO on a 2-minute and it would be an ACB on my 30-second. And to be a proper ACB, it would need to pull back to the 30-second 200. So, which is my 2-minute 50. So realistically, I would want an entry about there. But a bare minimum, I'd take an entry about here. But to take this entry, I'd really need price to kind of push up here, retest this area, and then start retracing. And it just didn't get all the way there. So it got close-ish, but I mean, there's still like several pips away at this point from me being able to enter the position. But at that same time, pound Aussie is giving an entry. Like if I would have set a limit order here at 0.382, this trade would trigger. I would have been in this trade. I was watching this one develop the same time I was watching Euro Aussie. I preferred Euro Aussie, but pound Aussie was still a nice trade too. I mean, you have resistance right here, treated as support right here. So now you've broke it with a clean kind of break. So you could say it's going to be resistance again. It's kind of like an IBO on your 10-minute, CBO on your 2-minute. The only thing, there's two things that kind of put me off about this trade a little bit. One's wave theory. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So this would be like a wave 7 CBO. And just typically not something I trade. The price action, though, is relatively in line. So can bend some rules. But what I also didn't like is that at the time that I had this on watch, again, we'll come back to the beginning of the hour here so you can see what this looked like. As I have this on watch, at the beginning of the hour, stuff lines up better. I mean, my EMAs look better and whatnot. But it's sitting on the 1 hour 200. And it's sitting on these kind of like previous highs over here. So it's still sitting on support is how I'm looking at this. Versus Euro Aussie has already broken support. So I like the setup on this more so. But I didn't get the pullback I was looking for, but pound Aussie did pull back. So technically a secondary setup, but it was catchable. And then my primary setup did not fully pull back to allow me to get into the trade. But yeah, that was basically my day. So it's kind of weird. I'm sitting at the end of Thursday here, and I'm only have one trade for the week right now. So I'm sitting at the slight loss still of 0.29R. And yeah, I need to find some trades. So I'll be trying to make something of these kind of MBOs here tonight. See if I can't find something. I even have some kind of like daily setup trades. Possibly I might even entertain just to try and hit my target for the week. So either way, that's all I've got. We'll catch you guys tomorrow too.